Hey guys, Brendan Sweeney here again, and on today's video I have a special guest. Today we're sitting down and having a conversation about the importance of a financial advisor with my go-to, Matt Clifford with Ameriprise Financial. Let's jump into it. Welcome back to another video. Like I said, we're having a conversation with Matt Clifford with Ameriprise Financial. Thanks for coming, Matt.
Thanks for having me, Brendan. As Brendan mentioned, Matt Clifford with Ameriprise Financial. I'm part of a team practice at Ameriprise. Myself and Tom Curran, we go by Curran, Clifford and Associates. So it's great. You know, we have a team practice. We're based out of Massachusetts, but we really can work anywhere in the world, especially with the virtual capabilities now that we're in 2021 here. You know, we really enjoy working with all different types of people. It doesn't matter where you come from, what your situation's about. We're looking to help and really focus on your financial goals, which I know is something that we're going to talk a little bit about today.
Awesome. I'm excited to do this.
Me too.
So Matt, before we jump into the nitty-gritty of this, what is a financial advisor and why should we care about having one?
That's a great question, right? You know, there's so many of us out there, I will say that, right? There's so many types of advisors out there. So one thing I will say is, you know, when you're looking for a financial advisor and things like that, keep your mind open, right? Pick someone that you like, right. Pick someone that you get along with, not just about what they're doing on the financial side, because you're gonna be working with them for a long period of time. But why you would pick a financial advisor, it's just like anything else, right? We are in a stage where most people have a job, whether it's W-2, they own their own business, whatever it may be, right? We wanna make sure that we're keeping your financial goals on track. So as a financial advisor, I take the financial side over, right? When you're someone that's working their job 40 hours a week, 40 plus hours a week, it's hard to keep track of your money.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's really difficult.
It's a full-time job.
Exactly, so it is really difficult to maintain that, do your job, have family time, so on and so forth. So what I found, a lot of the clients that I work with typically like to have myself, Tom, our team practice in a way that we're there for any questions, concerns, reasons that they want to see that they're on track for retirement, buying that second home, whatever it may be. So what I like to say is it's kind of a second set of eyes if you really think about it. Making sure, you know, again, I'm not one, and I'll make it very clear, I'm never going to tell you how to spend your money, what you can and can't do. You got to stop going out to eat. I'm never going to say that stuff, Brandon. What I'm going to do is tell you you're on track for this or you're not. And these are the things that you need to do in order to get to those goals, if that makes sense.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, and you know, as a real estate professional, I actually met you several years back, and we just clicked from there. And I knew, okay, well, if I want anyone managing my money, I'd rather do it with someone that I know, like, and trust. So that's the dynamic that you know, I know that's what he does in his practice, and that's how I operate my practice. So again, to bring it back to real estate, as a buyer or seller, how can you benefit those clients that I do have?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, one common trend I see, you know, financial advisor, just markets, just investments, right? That's kind of the common trend people get when they're working with an advisor or when they are thinking about working with an advisor. Be honest, I'm a big fan of real estate, right? I think it's a huge aspect to everyone's financial situation. Majority of people want to buy a home one day. Majority of people are going to sell a home one day. You need good partnerships like we have, right? Yeah. I trust you to send my clients to and things like that. Now, when you're actually talking about real estate and things to consider, what are you doing? What's the scenario? Are you a first-time home buyer? Are you buying your second home? Are you buying a vacation home? Are you buying a rental property? Whatever it may be, there's something going on the financial side, right? There's either a big purchase happening, maybe you're in this current market state that we're in, maybe you're having a large sum of money coming over and you don't know what to do with it. So those are the conversations that we typically will have with most clients is, again, always goes back to the financial goals. What do you want in your lifetime? When do you want to retire? You know, are you buying a second home with that money that you're making from the first home? So on and so forth. So these are the conversations that we're going to have over and over again. And again, we're going to do that, you know, year by year consistently.
Well, and that's just the thing, right? When I'm meeting up with a client for the first time, or maybe it's the second time meeting with them, you know, let's say they're a seller, they have a lot of money in their equity, right? So how can they better use that equity to set themselves up for a financial future? that's a huge deal, and we want to make sure that we have resources to share. And again, that's why I always recommend someone, talk with an accountant, talk with a financial advisor, make sure that they know every aspect or every opportunity that they have with that money that they're coming into, or with that money that they want to save. So that's huge, and I love just having a second set of eyes on these things. So can you share maybe a scenario that you run into regularly in terms of, maybe someone has student loans or something of that sort, where you're trying to help them? Let's say a first-time home buyer, you're trying to help them kind of prepare for that first purchase.
It's a great question. So I can kind of break this down in two different aspects, right? The financial planning side, just the financial side, and then we can kind of look at a real estate perspective as well. So you brought up a perfect example. Let's just roll with that. First-time home buyer. The typical first-time home buyer nowadays has student loans. It's just kind of what's happening out there, right? Education is crazy expensive. People are going to college more than ever, right? So we're starting to see that. It makes it pretty difficult when you're making, probably the lower end of the salary amount you're going to be making versus 20 years later, right? So we need to kind of balance in, all right, what's the main goal here? One that's typically on, or should be on everyone's mind, is retirement. I know that it's early. I know that folks that come in are young, right? But we want to make an understanding that retirement's always going to be there, and you're going to need money down the road to fund that retirement when you're no longer making a paycheck. So that's kind of something that's always there. Then maybe the second main attraction to goal, it would be buying that home. Now we back into it. How much do we want to buy that home for? But we really back into it and saying, what can you afford, right? Because when you can go get approved for a mortgage, and maybe you get approved for a lot of money, more than you were expecting. That doesn't always mean that it's the best idea to go utilize all that mortgage you could get, right? So those are the conversations that we're having. What can you afford on a month-to-month basis while being able to fund that retirement goal? To be able to, do the other goals, buy a rental property, maybe it's a multifamily, something like that. We want to make sure that we have a good understanding of what is entailed in the overall financial picture.
Fair enough. Yeah, and I like the rental opportunity there. If you're going to be a landlord, right? If you're going to be a first-time home buyer, try to go for that multifamily home, right? If it's 2, 3, 4 units, that can provide you an opportunity for income, right? So typically what I see on my end is if you're operating with a 3-family home, that third unit usually pays you a considerable chunk, right? So those 2 units, that basically covers the mortgage cost. That third unit is usually that income producing unit. So that's something where you'd be able to analyze kind of those numbers and really figure out if maybe it's a right fit for them. What would you say are some tips and tricks that the buyer or seller right now watching could take home and start utilizing?
Absolutely, it's a great question, Brandon. So when you're looking at your overall financial picture, and again, everyone's different. It's really hard to have a general conversation without knowing someone's specific situation. But let's keep on with the first-time home buyers, right? As we said a few minutes ago, we're typically seeing a lot of student loan debt, right? Or trying to get out of that student loan debt, but also wanting to have some home ownership, own some equity in a home, instead of paying that rent payment every week. Right. So what I will say is, if you can, write down everything that you typically spend, right? And it doesn't have to be exact. You know that you have those rock expenses that are never gonna leave. You have your rent payment maybe right now. You have your utilities payment. No matter what happens to you, those things are gonna be there. Yep. But also give yourself an estimate on, hey, how much am I spending on dinner, on groceries, on these things that they're obviously different. On golf. Everything that's all gonna be different, right? But getting a general figure of where you're at and how much you can save is really the key. Understanding what happens, and again, we're focusing on first-time home buyers. You look at someone that's been in a home for 25, 30 years, maybe it's too big and they want to downsize, and they're gonna make a big sum of equity in that home because they bought it 30 years ago. Right. There's a difference with planning there, right? What am I gonna do with that money? What am I gonna be able to do things that I originally thought I couldn't do, but now I do want to buy that vacation home. I do want to buy that boat. I want to go on more vacations, here and there every year. So those are the types of conversations that I have with clients, but you can do those exercises by yourself on your own. It's a good starting point, especially if you're planning on coming in and talking to a financial advisor. You can really get your plan together, get what you think the overall scope is, and have that more detailed approach with the financial advisor.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned golf because when I was running my own budget, I was like, well, I can't forget about this. And then I realized how much golf I actually played.
It gets a little scary on the expense front.
It gets scary. So not to get too sidetracked here, but what should the viewers at home be looking for in terms of financial advisor now that they kind of have a larger scope and idea of what a financial advisor is?
That's a great question. I mean, like I said earlier in the interview, there's thousands of financial advisors scattered across the country, right? So there's plenty of opportunity for the viewers at home to pick their primary financial advisor, and they shouldn't feel pressure to do it with one in particular. And it comes from all different areas, right? I'd say when you're really focusing on what does that financial advisor have to offer, one lack that I often see out there is education, right? So one of the biggest focuses I have on my practice in particular, Tom and I, is we really put a focus on that educational side. Right. So you understand, what investments we're in, what's happening, what's the overall financial game plan, right? Those types of things. I find that huge beneficial right there, and it's not always something that you're seeing. So I would say look for that in your financial advisor. The other would be really the system, their process, right? Yeah. You want to make sure that advisor is giving you all the time you need, right? You're paying that financial advisor whatever their fee may be. Yeah. You want to make sure that you're getting your time throughout the year. What I tell my clients, add me to the dentist list, add me to the doctor's list. We're going to have rocks in the calendar that we're going to have our meeting time, and then I'm available 24/7 for anything that may come up. So that availability, that aspect of people always getting contact from their financial advisor, it is huge. It's actually something that our firm is doing right now, is we want to make sure that our advisors, myself included, are reaching out to our clients at least 4 times a year. Yeah. And I typically try to do that a lot more. And then I'd say the last piece overall, trust, right? I mean, with anything, you're working with someone that's overlooking your overall financial situation, your engine to the car, right?
You see the nitty gritty exactly. and the scary.
Yeah, sometimes it's scary, sometimes it's great, but no matter what, you need to trust that person. You need to make sure that you're both aligned on what you're looking for as the client, and that advisor has your best interest in mind. Right. That is crucial, that's key, and I think it's pretty obvious. And I think the last piece that I'll talk about, just to tie it more into the business we've done together, the clients we've worked with together, having a great overall team, right? I think we say the same line, right? I know enough to be dangerous, yep. Right? I'm not an accountant. I'm not a certified public accountant. I'm not an estate planner where I can put your wills, power of attorneys. I'm not a realtor to do real estate deals. Right. That's why I surround myself with trusted professionals like yourself, so that I can pass along my clients with confidence, knowing that they're going to get great service, and I'm going to be tied into the loop as well.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, Matt, this was phenomenal. I couldn't have asked for a better guest to have today. So thank you so much. I know that the viewers at home have gotten a lot of great information from just this chat alone. So thank you again so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, because we're pushing out content every single month, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts of this video were and what you'd like to see in future videos on this channel. Again, thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you in the next video.